Hey guys, so I built this table some time ago, this Tetris table. I got it on some other videos and stuff. But I've actually really enjoyed playing Tetris on it, and I play it all the time. But this table, it's so big, I guess. Like taking it upstairs and downstairs. Like it's downstairs, so I got to go downstairs and play it. If I want to play it upstairs, I got to lug it upstairs, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So I decided I'm going to build a little mini one that's going to have just Tetris on it. And so this is going to be, I'm going to try and film my process of making it. But I've already started, unfortunately, but this is it. It's going to be about the same size grid. The grid's actually going to be a little bit bigger. It's like 30 by 30. But yeah, so I'm going to see if I could film the process of it. I'm not great at this kind of stuff, so we'll see how it goes. But I already started, so I got the LEDs up on this piece of aluminum. I put it on aluminum because the LEDs are pretty tightly packed and they can get pretty hot, I think, so I'm going to try and use the aluminum as a heat sink. I might run a little fan on the back, whatever, but it's got all the power soldered on already, all the data is soldered on. I've got basically the brains, it's going to be right here. It's going to be basically the same as the table. I got two teensies, one to drive the LEDs in the game, one for the audio, it's an SD card for some of the audio, a little micro amp for a speaker. I'm going to put one speaker on it. But it's going to go in this little frame, which I've kind of started cutting out already. So we've got this little frame here. You can see I've got like two grooves in this piece of wood here. One groove is going to be for the LED panel. The other groove is going to be for the acrylic sheet, which I don't have yet. But basically, it's just going to kind of sit like this. This panel will just like slide up into these grooves. Since they're not attached yet, I'm just going to shove it in there. So it'll just like drop in, and this bottom piece, I still have to bevel that edge so that it fits with the wiring. But it'll just drop in like that, and the acrylic sheet will drop in also. We have our power source right here. It's just I can't remember how many amps it is. 20 amps, 5 volt. It's going to sit on a little block in the back. It's just going to like sit on back there. And then, so then I marked here, I got some cutouts for, I have the plug for the outlet and little rocker switch, turn on and off. Wiring will go right up into the power source and then into the LEDs. I also I have these Bluetooth modules to do wireless controller. So here's the controller. It's cut off, but I haven't done any work in the controller yet. So one of these guys is going to go in the controller, one of these guys is going to go back here somewhere. We'll pair them together. So I have this board that's just gonna go in the back. I haven't cut it yet, but it's just gonna sit on the back. There'll be a little hole for the power source goes, so that I can get into all the connectors and stuff, and so that it can kind of vent. But that's basically it, I guess. So right now I'm gonna go cut these holes, cut this board down to size, and come back and we'll start wiring in all of the power. Alright, so we have all the pieces. This one is going to be on the side here. Has a spot for the plug, inlet, and then the rocker switch. So the back piece is going to go on like that. Holes here to allow airflow. A lot of holes for a lot of airflow. But I think we're about ready to start gluing it all together. So we got frame pieces. These guys are going to go back here to raise up the power a little bit. It's going to sit on those. So I'll slide in from the top, but for now I'm just going to stick it in like this. It's just going to stand upright like this. It's basically like a little mini TV screen, I guess. It'll go on the back there. We have airflow, access to the ports for the power, except it goes this way. Access to the teensies up here if we need. So now we're just going to start gluing. Alright, so here we are, it's all glued together. I went ahead and drilled some holes where the screws are going to go in for the power unit and the socket. We're just going to go ahead and wire up the power socket as a socket's going to go to the switch and then switch to the PSU. So we'll just go ahead and get started. Alright, so we just uploaded some code to the teensy. We're going to plug it in and give it a shot. But before we do, I'm going to take out all of these guys just in case something goes wrong. We don't want to bust all these. I don't have the whole audio side set up anyways, so it's not going to do anything. I don't have a speaker in. Turn it back on, and there's Ruth. Let's take a look and see if we got something. And we do. We have something. So it looks like my code is off. I think it should say like menu and then Tetris or something, but something's working. So I just gotta figure out what is not working. Be a bunch of code, and I'll be back. Alright, so the original code on the large table that I made, I was using RGBW LED strips, and here I'm using RGB. So that's why the color was looking a little off. But I went ahead and uploaded the new code, converted to RGB, not RGBW, and give it a shot and see what happens. So there we go. It looks like it's working. Looks like I'm missing some data for a few strips here, so I'll have to fix that. See, we're missing this strip here. There it is. Yeah, so I just gotta make a better connection to this strip here. But also, I don't have the controller hooked up yet, so I can't like flip through the menu or anything. So next, we'll just have to fix this connection down here and start working on the controller. Alright, so I have a Arduino Uno here hooked up to one of the HC05 Bluetooth modules. I'm basically just going to run a bunch of commands. I don't know if you'll be able to see this through the video on the computer, but a bunch of AT commands just to set it up. We're setting up the one for the master, which is going to be the controller right now. Alright, so we got the Bluetooth modules all updated and set, so now we're going to go ahead and solder them in. First we're going to do the one that's going to go on the back of the board. I'm just going to let it hang down here, but I'm going to put it on a little tiny piece of breadboard and wire it up. Alright, so I've unscrewed them. Here's the original one I did for the large table. So we're basically just going to try and recreate this. Bluetooth controller, battery, little mini Arduino, I guess. LED to tell us when it's on. Underneath this board, you have your the recharger for the battery, little switch up in the top. So we're just going to recreate this into the new one. The new one, I've actually already gone ahead and cut in the holes, basically for the battery charger and the switch. I just took a soldering iron and kind of shoved it in there, and then cut out the rest with a X-Acto knife. But we'll just go ahead and get started, and we're just recreating this here. So, got all the parts ready here: new battery, charger, Omega 328 switch, all the other junk, capacitors, crystal, LED, etc., and then the breadboards for all the pieces. Alright, so controller's done. We'll, turns on. You can see, I don't know if you can see that blinking, Bluetooth looking for something. Let's go ahead and plug in a charging port. Looks like I'll need to put a hole up here so we can see if it's charging or not. Oh, the charging is... Put it backwards. We can't see if it's charging. Oops. And this one, let's see. That's why I put it upside down. This one we put it upside down because there's a blue LED that shows you when it's charging that you can see through the side. This one I put the other way just because it would sit flat. Forgot that there's a light in there. Maybe with all the lights off. Okay, well, I'll have to pull that out and flip it over so that we can see the blue charging light in there, but I'll do that off screen some other time. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if this thing actually works. It's connected. Alright, it does not work, so I have to troubleshoot and figure out why. The Bluetooth did connect. I forgot to mention on the controller where the Bluetooth wasn't working. Before, when I plugged in the charging port and did not see the LED come through the face, and said that was because I put it in backwards. Actually, the cable that I was using is broken. It doesn't work. So even with it upside down, we can still see a red light on the face here. Not sure if you can see that, but you can still see a red light here. So I actually decided not to flip it over. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and when it's fully charged, that red light will turn blue. Okay, so I did a bunch of debugging, and here's the Bluetooth module that was inside the grid, and here's the one that was inside the controller. And this one works just fine, having no issues with this, but this one, however, I am not able to transmit, send or receive any data. So I think what happened is, I think I probably busted this one when I soldered it onto the board. This one I've used in lots of projects, and it's been soldered and unsoldered so many times, it's probably finally just took a dive. So I don't have any extras at the moment, so I ordered a few more. They're on their way, but in the meantime, I just took the one that's in the board on the large table and put it back here. So it's hanging right here. We put that one in, and we're going to use the controller from the previous one until I get the new Bluetooth modules and can rehook up this controller. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this guy, see that it's working. Power on. Let me turn off some lights. Let's see, and there we go, it's working. So I have Tetris, I have brightness, and then And volume, we don't have the volume hooked up yet, we'll do that in a little bit. And then there's just some like slideshow stuff. But so it's working. So now we're going to go ahead and build the grid that goes in here so that we can see the lights a little bit easier. That's that. There it is. Probably butchered that transition, by the way, but there's the grid. Go right on this guy. Right in there. I'm going to paint it black, though, right now. See if maybe I could do that transition a little bit better. I'm going to paint it black. I know white helps like reflect the light from the pixels a little bit better, but I'm not really concerned about how bright the pixels are. They're bright enough already as they are. I've actually taken the intensity of them down quite a lot. I'm more concerned about the blacks being black, as black as they can be, but also this stuff's a little bit on the thinner side. It's like cardstock, and I don't really want light. I want to prevent light bleed between the pixels as much as possible. If one's on and one's off, I don't want the light to bleed through it. So I'm going to go ahead and paint it black. We'll see if I can do this transition a little bit better. There, it's painted black. So now the grid is just going to go on the front here. It goes this way. And then usually I use this kind of like translucent acrylic that's a little diffused for a lot of my LED projects, but I just recently found this amazing stuff. It's this like black LED acrylic. Has a shiny side and a matte side, and they suggest using the matte side, but I kind of like the shiny side, so I'm not sure which one I'll put in the front, but it gives it like a computer screen kind of a look, I guess, and the light still shines through it really well. So we're going to go ahead and see if I can get this in here. Like it's working pretty good. So now we'll start working on the audio. Alright, so we're going to wire up the audio. I actually already wired up the SD card area prior to filming anything. The SD card goes up in here, and that's wired up to the TNC that's going to control the audio here, but for the amplifier I haven't wired that up yet, so we'll go ahead and do that. The TNC, we're going to use the DAC pin on the TNC, which is like this one here, so I'm going to put in this little header so that we're going to solder that in so I can just use this pin on a wire to pop in and out, make easy removal. So we'll just go ahead and get started on that. And I have two speakers here. This one here is more fitting for this amplifier, a 4 ohm 3 watt. This is a 2.5 watt amplifier. This one is 1.5 watt, so 6 ohms. So that's probably about the same. So we're gonna go ahead and give this one see how this one sounds. Then we'll try, if I don't like it, then we'll try this one. I like the way this one kind of fits better. I'll just go like, back in the spot here. Both of these are supposed to have a case, but I'm not gonna, like an enclosure, a volume enclosure, but I'm not gonna build that. I'm sure they're gonna be loud enough to do the job that I want them to do. So we'll go ahead and shove this in here and give it a shot. And I've already uploaded the code to the TNC, so go ahead and see how well this works. So I'll turn the volume up. And I hear nothing, so we need to do some debugging. Alright, so I figured out what the issue was. I had 2 pins. Two pins had a solder connection on the audio TNC, so it was the 2 data ones for the SD card reader, so it wasn't initiating the SD card reader, which wasn't starting up the TNC. So it's now working. So we'll go ahead and take a look here. So there we go, got some music. Pick all the different sounds you want. So it's all the, I guess, program still needs a lot of code work. I have this volume here. It doesn't actually go all the way down to 0. Also, when we start Tetris, if we start at a level it's like 10 or above, missing a gap there. There's just a few things that I need to go through and fix with the code, but we'll do that later. Now the next thing to do is finish this box, I guess. So we gotta put this guy up on here. I'm gonna put a little hole on the side for the speaker. I need to make a longer wire to make it actually go there. Install that. So we'll get this guy on, and then we just gotta finish this top piece, which will basically be like this, and then I'll just slide it in up on top. Alright, so we've gone ahead and we got this back panel glued on, got the speaker glued into place. We'll put out speaker just plugs into the amplifier, I guess, which just kind of drops in and out on the board. And we got the top piece glued together, so this just slides in on the top to hold that in place, and it's all kind of ready to go. So we got volume here. And it's pretty much done. Got all the code. So I got all the code cleaned up for the size, since the grid size is a little bit larger than my previous one. One last thing to do though is, so it has only Tetris on it. I left like Snake out and stuff, but I did put like just photos of family and stuff. So this takes up a lot of power, and it makes the LED's pretty warm. I guess the Tetris, when it kind of starts filling up, they get pretty warm too. So got a couple of fans, and we're gonna go ahead and put these in on the side so that we can keep the metal plate cool. The fans are a little bit louder than what I thought they would be based off of reading like YouTube, or not YouTube, got them off Amazon. Amazon like reviews and stuff. So I don't know if you can hear that. I mean, it's not crazy loud, but it's louder than I would like. With 2 of them, it's going to be, I mean, it's noticeable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the voltage down on them a little bit, just enough so that they still do what they need to do, but are a bit quieter. So Bill already soldered together this little piece. It's just a little, we call it like potentiometer, so I can control the voltage if I want to. I can turn it all the way up if I don't care about the sound, but basically these fans are just gonna plug right into here, and this is going to get attached to the power down there. So that is the last thing we need to do, and then we'll put the fans in over here at like a little angle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple just like pieces of wood to like hold them in place. So I'm going to go ahead and get those cut and glued in, and then we'll go ahead and come back and start putting in the fans and putting in this little guy. So fans are on and working. They sound pretty quiet. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video.